There are plenty of shocking finales in Hollywood history, but it takes a special kind of climax to make someone leave the theater in a fit of rage. These movie endings all sparked major controversies, sometimes for the silliest of reasons. Major spoilers ahead. When 10 Cloverfield Lane arrived in 2016, people wondered if this sci-fi flick would have any connection to the J.J. Abrams-produced monster movie Cloverfield that'd come out 8 years before. Was it a sequel or a prequel? Did it take place in the same universe? Would there be any aliens? As moviegoers quickly found out, there were most definitely aliens, but not everyone was happy when the evil ETs showed up on screen. The space worms first appear after our hero Michelle escapes from an underground bunker. For most of the movie, she's been held captive by Howard, a murderous conspiracy theorist who thinks aliens have taken over the world. And when Michelle finally makes her way to the surface, she discovers Howard was right. Seconds after defeating her warden, Michelle is forced to fight against invaders from another galaxy. This fiery finale ticked off quite a few moviegoers, as many thought the climax was overblown and out of place. Some said the movie self-destructed in the last few minutes, while others argued Michelle didn't need to fight any extraterrestrials as she'd already beaten Howard. On the other hand, other critics say the scene is essential for Michelle's character arc. Now that she's seen the alien foe up close, her decision to join the resistance has real meaning. She now knows from first-hand experience what dangers lie ahead, so when she drives toward the invasion, we understand she's finally overcome her fear, and she won't run away this time. But regardless of your opinion on the ending, can we all agree that John Goodman was way scarier than any alien?
I'm sorry.
I accept your apology.
Directed by Nicholas Meyer, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan features one of the saddest death scenes you'll ever see in a sci-fi movie. After going toe-to-toe with Khan, the crew of the USS Enterprise is in serious trouble. There's a super weapon about to go off, and Captain Kirk can't escape the blast in time because the ship's warp drive has been seriously damaged. And that's when Spock decides to save the day. Putting the needs of the many ahead of the needs of the few, Spock exposes himself to deadly radiation in hopes of repairing the ship.
No human can tolerate the radiation that's in there.
As you are so fond of observing, Doctor, I am not human.
While his plan works out and the Enterprise escapes intact, our pointy-eared hero dies a tragic death, separated from Kirk by a pane of glass. It's a heartbreaking scene, and if you're not getting a bit misty-eyed right now, it's probably because you're a Vulcan.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
I do not understand the question.
Of course, fans back in 1982 weren't just upset about Spock's demise, they were downright furious. News of Spock's death leaked pretty early during the filming of Wrath of Khan, resulting in a major outcry from fans. According to executive director Harve Bennett, the filmmakers received 100,000 letters pleading for Spock's life. One Trekkie took out a magazine ad demanding that Paramount spare the Vulcan, and some fans were so upset that they started harassing actor Leonard Nimoy, actually threatening the man and his family. Hoping to throw fans off, Meyer and the company added a scene early in the film in which Spock fakes his death during a training sequence, and honestly, that probably only made it hurt even more when the Vulcan finally gave his trademark salute for the final time. Well, until Star Trek III: The Search for Spock came out anyway. When The Devil Inside hit theaters in 2012, there were multiple reports that audience members began jeering and shouting in anger after the credits started rolling. So what kind of ending would cause moviegoers to unleash their inner demons? Well, The Devil Inside is a found footage film about a killer named Maria who's possessed by 4 demons. Her daughter, Isabella, is making a documentary about her murderous mom, and eventually, the film culminates with an exorcism where the demons decide to leave their host and inhabit our heroes. As a result, things take an unfortunate turn as Isabella and her friend are speeding down a busy highway. Suddenly, her possessed buddy turns into oncoming traffic, and the movie cuts to black. And that's when a title card pops up, reading, "The facts surrounding the Rossi case remain unresolved. For more information about the ongoing investigation, visit www.therossifiles.com." Really? The site was just a bizarre bit of viral marketing, but moviegoers thought that they would have to visit the site to find out how the story ended. That wasn't actually the case, but nevertheless, people felt cheated, prompting a whole lot of outrage from furious horror fans. Based on the novel by Nicholas Sparks, Safe Haven has a terrible approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of that hatred has to do with an ending that comes straight out of The Sixth Sense. Supposedly set in the real world, a place where ghosts don't exist, this 2013 romance focuses on a battered wife named Katie. She's on the run after stabbing her husband, and she eventually winds up in a new town where she befriends a local woman named Jo and falls in love with a hunky widower named Alex. As you've probably guessed, Katie and Alex wind up together, but moments before the credits roll, the couple discovers a stack of letters written by Alex's dead wife, Carly. They also find a photo of his old flame, and surprise, she looks exactly like Jo. Yeah, that's right. Katie's friend Jo is the ghost of Alex's wife, returned from the afterlife to play matchmaker for her hubby. As twists go, this one is completely nuts, especially considering there weren't any apparent supernatural elements in the movie until the end. In fact, the finale was so bonkers that one critic wrote that the twist will make you want to punch the movie in the face. Directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, The Interview follows a talk show host and his producer as they visit North Korea to, interview Kim Jong-un. But before they reach Asia, they're recruited by the CIA to assassinate the dictator. Initially reluctant, they finally do the deed when Kim decides to launch his nuclear weapons. As Kim sits in a helicopter, James Franco and Seth Rogen blast him to Kingdom Come with a tank, and we watch in slow-mo as the bad guy's face catches on fire. Originally, Kim's death was way more violent. His entire head exploded, sending chunks of skull everywhere. This did not set well with the CEO of Sony, who insisted that Rogen tone down the gore. But that was just the start of what would become an international incident. The madness really began when North Korea stated that releasing The Interview would be an act of war. Things only got worse when a North Korean-backed group called the Guardians of Peace hacked Sony, began releasing private emails, and demanded the studio shut down the controversial comedy. And this is when things got kind of scary. The Guardians of Peace followed up their hacking attack with terrorist threats. As a result, 5 major theater chains decided to drop The Interview, and Sony initially declined to release the movie online. Sure, the movie eventually did make its way into theaters and streaming services, but it's kind of weird to think that decades from now, film students will still be talking about how a ridiculous Seth Rogen movie sparked an international incident.
They hate us! They hate us because they ain't us! Kim! Oh, got it, boy! Okay. Alley-oop!
Even though Do the Right Thing came out nearly 30 years ago, it's just as relevant today as it was in 1989. Set during a vicious summer heat wave in New York City, this Spike Lee joint focuses on a small neighborhood divided by race. The film takes place over the course of a single day, and we watch as an argument between a pizza shop owner and 2 customers escalates into a violent showdown. The madness starts when an NYPD officer kills a young African-American man. In response, the main character starts a riot that destroys the aforementioned pizza parlor. It's a devastating climax, one that leaves audiences shaken to the core, but empathetic toward all the characters and where they're coming from. Well, that was what was supposed to happen anyway. Unfortunately, a lot of people misunderstood the movie and worried Do the Right Thing would incite real-life riots. One reviewer at the time wrote, "The end of this movie is a shambles, and if some audiences go wild, Lee is partly responsible." Other critics apparently felt the same way, with one going so far as to say the movie could have political ramifications. Naturally, this didn't set well with Lee, who told Rolling Stone, "I don't remember people saying people were going to come out of theaters killing people after they watched Arnold Schwarzenegger films."